Thugs and Gods,
A Marvelous Captain,
Stoner Wars.
all that and more.
Cody, you know what to do next.
For Wakanda!
Welcome to episode 11 of the Super Media Brothers podcast. I am Midnight Agent Raw.
And I am the king of Wakanda, Mike. You shall never trespass on my land again.
No. Well, this is all too familiar.
It is. It feels like deja vu.
It really fucking does.
Wow.
Yeah. Hi, guys. The reason this feels like deja vu to us and brand new to you is because last week we tried to record this episode, and we did record this episode.
But...
yeah. Technical malfunction of our app, and the memory storage was like, hey, we're gonna cut like 20 minutes out of your podcast and you guys just talked for nothing, so
fuck you.
Yeah, so we technically officially have a lost episode, and it's not even
somewhere
a full episode
in there.
Yeah, it's just there. So we said, fuck it, we're just gonna redo this. And
Bitch! Let's do it.
Bitch, let's do it. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, you guys! Repeat!
Press play.
Press play! Repeat! Okay. We are going to be discussing... not disgusting, but discussing...
Nothing about this is disgusting.
No, it's not. We are discussing the remaining films in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the official first entry into Phase 4. Starting... with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is coming out on May 5th, 2017.
Needs to come a little quicker.
Yeah, it does.
I'm ready for this one too.
Oh, I am. I've been fucking ready.
So ready.
So fucking ready. I am Groot.
I need that arm.
I am Groot.
I need that arm.
I am Groot. No!
I really need that arm.
I really need that arm. Just
Fuck Bucky.
Fucky.
Fucky?
Fucky.
Yeah.
Fucky arms. Yondu and Mantis are a part of the team now. Movie takes place 2 months after the first film.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm stoked for this just because I loved the first one so much, and it was a big surprise hit for Marvel.
Oh, yeah. Especially being one of those types of Marvel heroes that you really don't hear about. Not really that popular compared to the rest of them.
No.
And then they basically like hit home with everything about this. You know, the humor, the atmosphere, the action. The soundtrack was even fucking nostalgia to like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. And it's rare that you get a movie and an equally good soundtrack out of it. They knocked it out of the park. James Gunn just did a phenomenal job directing the first one, and he's returned to do this one. As has the entire cast, along with some new faces. Kurt Russell is going to be playing Ego, which in turn is Peter Quill's father.
The father of Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Star-Dad.
Yes! Star-Dad. I am just looking forward to seeing Baby Groot jumping around on Rocket's shoulders.
In that Michael Jackson leather jacket.
Oh my god.
Because he's just going to beat it.
Yes, he is.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
I'm Groot. I'm Groot. I'm Groot. I'm Groot. Yes. But yeah, May 5th, 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to... I think it's going to make more than the first one, and I really think it's going to do great box office business.
Same here.
Yes. On to... July 7th, 2017 is Spider-Man Homecoming, which is...
I know you're jizzing about.
Fuck yeah, dude.
24/7 jizz.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You just hear thwap everywhere.
Thwip smack.
Thwip.
Now watch me thwip. Now watch Aunt May May. Now watch me thwip. Thwip. Now watch Aunt May May. Yeah. This is his second appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe outside of Civil War, which... the 40 minutes that the Peter Parker Spider-Man character was in that was excellent. Mm-hmm. They did everybody a favor by skipping the entire origin story, and they put it into like a little 10-minute section with him and Stark talking to each other in his bedroom.
You know, angsty little teenager trying to, figure out his life and everything, just become Spider-Man. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, Tony Stark wants me to join the Avengers.
Fuck yeah.
What does he need me for? I need to take care of some people.
You guys ever see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
What?
Yeah, I fucking loved it. I loved it. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The reason I laughed so much in that part in the movie is because the actual character of Peter Parker, the one fandom that he can't stand in the comics is the Star Wars fandom. And it's not that he doesn't like the movies, he just, the fandom surrounding it, he just doesn't grasp.
He's a hipster, yeah.
Yes, pretty much. Again, second appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's his first solo outing. Michael Keaton is playing the Vulture. I'm totally down with that.
Especially at this day and age with his, looks and appeals, he actually does pull off like a good representation.
He's got that
physically.
Adrian Toomes look.
Mm-hmm. And he definitely has that craziness, like considering like his old role in Batman when he was, "We'll get nuts.
Let's get nuts!"
But he can actually tone it down and make it more like emotional, more just crazy, not just like over the top.
It's really just sinister. Like in the part in the trailer when he I can't remember exactly how he says it, and I feel dumb for not having seen it before doing this, but or he was pretty much saying like, stay out of my way, like I'll kill you and your friends and like shit like that. I'm like, fuck.
That's the Michael Keaton I love.
Right? We're also going to see the Shocker as a minor villain, which, yeah, exactly.
Hand gesture applied.
Yes, that's right. And then the love interest for this one is going to be Liz Allen. And little quick note, Liz Allen was actually one of the people in the comics that not so much bullied Peter Parker, but was a kind of like a standby person. She was with Flash Thompson, who was, of course, one of Parker's biggest bullies. Mm-hmm. She eventually had a thing for Peter Parker when she figured out that he dressed up as Spider-Man to rescue Betty Brant. And all the while, she thought it was just him dressing up like Spider-Man and not knowing that he's actually Spider-Man. So, again, it'll be like interesting to not see Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane Watson on screen.
Mary Jane Twatson.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sorry, I just didn't like freaking what's her
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst is no.
No.
She just seems like the same character from every other movie as Mary Jane Watson.
She just makes a sting face the whole time.
And complains about her panties showing in the fucking film.
That's right. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Fuck it.
Kirsten, fuck.
That's right. Kirsten, fuck. Yeah, but Spider-Man Homecoming comes out July 7th, 2017, and I've purposely stayed away from any kind of spoilery information. Spoilery information on the interwebs. Ha! Yeah. Moving on. Thwipping on to the third release of 2017, which, by the way, Marvel is getting into this mode where they're going to release 3 films per year. The third one coming out this year is Thor Ragnarok, which we discussed on a prior episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm expecting this one to actually surpass the other two,
it will
tenfold, because it's basically like the more serious tone versus the other two, and everything's actually taking effect to where it's like if it's actually considering the Norse mythology Ragnarok kind of thing, then yeah, it's going to be intense as shit.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Thor, the movie. The events in this movie are going to have an immense effect on Thor, who's going to have a newfound sense of purpose for the Infinity War saga. Mm-hmm. Again, I mean, you've got elements of World War Hulk and the Ragnarok storyline. So I, like Cody said, I totally expect this to be a fucking fantastic film and surpass the other two.
Oh, definitely.
Moving on to the movie that you've been consistently jizzing over.
For Wakanda.
That's right.
For Wakanda.
For one more time.
One more Wakanda.
Wakanda. Ryan Coogler, director of Creed, which was a fucking excellent entry in the Rocky franchise. I highly recommend it out there if you guys want to check it out. He is directing the Black Panther. And also Michael B. Jordan from Creed will be Eric Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're hyped as fuck about just this movie in general.
Oh man, I've been just a little interpretation like you were talking about with Spider-Man's interpretation, Civil War. Just seeing, T'Challa in the flesh, like getting to see a taste of who he's going to be in the movie, and it's just he pulls it off so well. Just that pride, that sense of purpose, and then all of a sudden everything goes to shit, and he's just like he's on a warpath, like literally.
Oh yeah,
fuck Bucky. At this point,
fucky.
Yeah. And just seeing him in action whenever he was fighting, the other side of the Avengers, and it's just like, yeah, he's going to fuck some shit up. Like, whenever he gets down to the nitty-gritty.
I love the scene in Civil War when he's on foot running after them and
with
keeping up.
Yeah, with a motorbike. Yeah.
He's just keeping up.
That's my T'Challa right there,
dude. With the fucking vibranium claws and shit. Fuck.
And it's like every hard hit that he would take, it would just like be nothing to him. Like he knows like what it is to feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
These fuckers can't do shit.
No. I remember specifically going to see Civil War with you, and you were talking about how well they did the necklace add on to his costume. Because that was one thing, and that's a big thing about the Marvel films is like, how are they going to incorporate certain cool elements
Attention
of the
to
costume? Detail,
yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the way they did it, how it was just on his,
his suit, yeah. Now it was an actual piece of collar, like, kind of thing. Because I know, like in the old comic books, like they basically have like a black suit, and then they had like all the jewelry and stuff around him, and then he had the claws kind of on top of his claws on his glove. Now it's like ingrained in like an actual suit. Everything's just one unified piece.
And then the mask acts as an actual helmet for him. It's fucking awesome.
And the same thing with Spider-Man's costume in this one, where in Civil War, where he had the attention to detail of the eyes, like going up and down.
Dude, oh my god, I just
that was actually like noteworthy. That's awesome.
It is, man, and the fact that his suit it's very much like 1960s.
The Amazing Spider-Man and Friends.
Yes, like the old school spider on the back of the suit, and just jizz everywhere. And the both of these guys are going to be in the Avengers: Infinity War, which comes out the following
next.
Yeah, Black Panther is February 16th, 2018, followed by the Infinity War on May 4th, 2018. This is when
shit starts going down.
Yeah, you've got two separate Avengers factions, one led by Tony Stark, the other led by Steve Rogers, who has dropped the Captain America mantle by this point. They're going to be joining up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, Wong from Doctor Strange, the Collector, and notably absent is Ant-Man. So they're shooting this one and the second part of this back-to-back. The casting has been put in place already. I'm not sure. Like, we know Thanos is coming, and it's going to be fucking war. I am very interested to see how strong they make him.
I mean,
they've been building him since 2012, man.
I am serious about this. I am going to be 100%, and I don't give a flying fuck who says otherwise. He is going to be probably the only character that is not going to be taken down. And if it does happen, I mean, they have to have a lot to go with. Because, I mean, discussing the whole thing earlier with Ant-Man, I know in the storyline, basically Hank Pym's storyline, but I think Scott Lang, they might have kind of mixed it up a little bit. But they were trying to not only research the Pym particle to shrink, but to actually increase in size. And they got to the point where he's trying to test drive just the increase on the size and actually the taxation on his body. Because basically when he gets to like 40% increase, it actually starts hurting him. So in Civil War, you saw him temporarily turn Giant Man to basically fight against the Avengers on the other side. And I'm wondering if they're going to use that as a drive to try and take down Thanos once he figures out how to control the Giant Man, transformation, basically.
Right.
Because, you have the gauntlet, but, just with the Hulk, and that's a whole other thing. Freaking World Destroyer Hulk.
If they even go that route, which I hope they do.
I mean, it's freaking Ragnarok. I mean, it has to. You have to think about it. But if World Destroyer Hulk and Giant Man can't do it, I don't know what will. Yeah,
and you would think that would be their biggest weapon right there. If it comes down to the Hulk being that way, the only other way I could see it happening is if somehow they were able to shrink Thanos and dissipate him into the quantum realm somehow, and just have him lost.
Yeah, but see,
if they
the way they did it in the first Ant-Man, he basically like messed with the suit to the point where it just kept shrinking him. So I would assume they would take some kind of mechanism that he has already and basically replicate it and then throw it to him and basically short wire it basically. In a way.
And they have to get the gauntlet off of him.
Yeah, if not, then yeah, there's no fair play.
No.
If he has all 4 gems or all the gems.
Right, and then strangely enough, moving onward, like we'll get back to the Avengers actually, but moving onward to July 6th of 2018 is the Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the sequel to Ant-Man, and this movie will actually take place after Civil War and apparently before Infinity War.
So it makes you wonder, like where was their absence, during this whole time? And I'm thinking they're basically trying to research the Pym particle to where, like I said, to help with the size enhancement.
Right, and then along with that, we get a new hero in the form of Wasp, which will be Evangeline Lilly's character. So, I'm interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp because I thought also Ant-Man was a very good film. It was a very nice surprise entry in the universe.
It was a nice comedic entry basically because Scott Lang's character is just like we are. We're smart asses, and he was pinpointing that the entire time.
It's a heist film. I wonder if the Ant-Man and the Wasp, while they're doing that, will also focus on them trying to find Van Dyne's mother in the quantum realm, which it's funny because in Doctor Strange, you got a little bit of an Easter egg there because Strange also visits the quantum realm. I wonder how that could play on going forward because they're obviously trying to tie together that multiple characters can enter certain like
dimensions and stuff.
Yeah, Ant-Man's one of the rare guys that can enter the cosmic dimension like that. So,
well, I guess in a way, once him and Strange meet up, I'm assuming this will happen, but once him and Strange meet up at the end of this movie, then he'll actually kind of go with the Wasp to figure out where the mother is, and then that's why he's absent in Infinity War because he's actually doing all that.
That's a good point. But we'll have to wait and see. That's July 6, 2018, and again, I have very high hopes for that.
I mean, the first one was really good, so I'm kind of not really expecting this one to be that much better because the first one was pretty much like a stellar entry in the series. So
it was a good origin story. And speaking of origin story, the next entry in the Phase 3. Starting off in 2019 will be on March 8th of that year, and it stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers in the film Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's about time.
And it's the first, DC's already ahead of them with Wonder Woman being the first major female role lead when it comes to the movies, so they kind of have that edge, but I really like just how much Larson and Captain Marvel are just images of each other. If she was literally real live Captain Marvel, she would fit that because her face is pinpoint.
She's got the entire build for it, the body build and everything. They probably couldn't have. And Marvel, again, and I will say this so many times, probably the more episodes we do, Marvel has been so spot on with their casting.
I mean, Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. at this point. There's no who's who. It's no, he is Tony Stark.
Yeah. Same thing with Peter Quill and Chris Pratt. That's one and the same.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But no, Carol Danvers is a highly regarded character in the entire comic book world. She's, in fact, has been labeled Marvel's biggest female hero, a feminist icon, and quite possibly Marvel's mightiest Avenger. I mean,
she's basically the Superman of Marvel in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, sort of.
She's like a Wonder Woman and Superman combination, but with a quirk on the personalities. And you basically have,
You have Carol Danvers, yeah. You've got Carol Danvers right there, and I'm excited as fuck about it. I know that they went this route, obviously, because at one point Carol Danvers was an X-Men, so they can't go that route because Fox, obviously. But the way they're gonna do this, I'm surprised. I'm hoping that with the introduction of Captain Marvel here, we move down to Avengers 4. Which it's untitled right now because it was supposed to be Infinity War Part 2, but the Russos have said that they are not going to be calling it Infinity War Part 2, that it's a completely different tone of a film.
It's basically the aftermath, I guess.
I would think so.
Because, I mean, it makes sense. Because, I mean, if they're not going to even count it as a second part, I mean, it has to be basically the after effect of what happened with the battle between Thanos and them.
Yeah, and maybe it's still going on to a certain extent because I mean, Josh Brolin is in this one as well. The casting is indicating that there are absences. Maybe like some of the characters have gone off, or there's death of certain characters because
Which, if you know your Marvel,
yeah, if you know your Marvel, yeah, Thanos completely wipes out the Marvel universe with that fucking gauntlet, and I mean he eradicates damn near all of the Marvel universe with it. The casting indicates that Iron Man, Thanos, Hulk, Loki, Thor, Steve Rogers, Hawkeye, Star-Lord, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, Wasp, and Nebula. Those are the only ones that are appearing in this so far. They haven't, mentioned anything else. But as far as casting that has been confirmed for this movie, and they're shooting them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if they have everybody there, the casting would have included everybody else too. A lot of characters are either gone or dead.
I'm voting for more death.
I am too.
Because, I mean, Thanos, as powerful as he is at this point, I mean, come on.
The only hero death we've had so far is Quicksilver. And the second Avengers film,
That went
Age
too
of
quick.
Ultron.
That was a quick death.
It really was. He tried
He
to
bit the
give us,
bullet.
Yeah, he did.
He bit many bullets.
They tried to give us a fucking silver of hope. He wasn't quick enough.
No.
Nestle Quicksilver. They totally missed a time.
Determined to chocolate milk.
Ends him so bad.
And then that defecation at the end when you die is...
Oh!
Well, there's your Nesquik.
There's your Nesquik right there. Oh. God damn it.
Janet.
Yes. Damn it, Janet Van Dyne. I mean, what?
What?
I
love you.
Oh, me too, man. Fucking, May 3rd, 2019, the fourth Avengers film. But again, like, there's so much speculation on this, though. I really want to know, when this happens, where do they go from here? Because we've talked about the possibility of how they could, like, recast certain characters that aren't maybe sticking around. Like, Robert Downey Jr. can't play Iron Man forever. And
with the way the comic books are evolving too, yeah, I mean he's going to eventually give up the title, and so will other characters. Like now, with Steve Rogers basically giving up the title of Captain America, who's going to take the mantle? Is it Bucky? Is it going to be the Falcon?
Yeah,
who?
No shit. And if they ever wanted to return Steve Rogers to the fray, how fucked up would it be that the new comic book storyline that's coming out? Like, say later on they're like, hey, we want Chris Evans to come back for a couple movies. Like, what if he comes back as the fucking Captain Hydra? Like, he's been a part of Hydra the whole fucking time.
That's why he's in hiding, yeah.
Yeah. Also, we know... okay, use your brains. I'm not even going to say, like, officially spoilers, because this is, like...
Speculation.
Well, no, it's not even really speculation. It's just common knowledge, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When Thanos gets a hold of that glove with all the gemstones in it, Vision is going to be dead, because he's got one of the fucking stones in his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Well, that's obviously why he's not returning.
Yeah, no shit. Sorry, Paul Bettany.
We saw this coming.
Yeah, we did. We had a vision. We just saw it through. I just with that gauntlet though. At one point, my theory would be Thanos just shatters the universe into parallel universes.
And then that's like you said earlier with the recasting of the characters. Then you start coming into other universes and finding out that Iron Man is this person, and then Captain America is a totally different person and stuff like that. So.
Yep. And they've already said that Chris Hemsworth wants to keep playing Thor as much as possible. So I mean, you don't have to worry about that.
He wants another.
Tom Holland is signed on for a multi-film contract, as is Bucky. Sebastian Stan. He's signed on for multi-contract. So is Falcon. Like, I'm slipping big time on these actors' names. Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, I forget too. I forget more than you do.
No, it's okay. But I mean, if they wanted to recast other ones, they could be like, well, this Tony Stark's from this Earth, and somehow they're crossed. So you've got the current roster mixing up with a different, and that's the only way I would ever consider a recast working, because nobody's ever going to play Tony Stark the way Robert Downey Jr. has. Nobody's going to play any of these characters like they have.
Mm-hmm.
and we've speculated once more, like, where do you go from here? Marvel is doing what I would call playing it safe and close to the chest by having, this is the announcement of Phase 4, Spider-Man Homecoming 2, which is the tentative title. That is the first film announced for the Phase 4. What better thing to do than Iron Man? Like, Marvel Studios is the house that Iron Man built. It's the house that Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau helped to build.
Yeah.
What better way to do it than having Tony Stark's character in the first Spider-Man film, and it's almost like a passing of the torch, because arguably Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. I don't give a shit what anybody says or thinks. Like,
Yep.
Spider-Man is the face of Marvel as Superman and Batman are with DC. They are doing the right thing, in my opinion, by giving him the flag and the torch, so to speak, to carry onward. Because a lot of people thought that it was over after after the fourth Avengers and after Phase 3, that it was done. Marvel has movies planned well into the 2020s. They're constantly developing. They are constantly screenwriting with certain producers, and it's the possibilities are endless. I would love to see. They're obviously going to do more Black Panther and things like that. So we've got those characters. More Guardians. I would have to think that Guardians Volume 3 would be in Phase 4 somewhere.
I mean, as popular as they are now, yeah, it's kind of obvious.
It's cool because I feel like the Guardians have become a modern pop culture icon team. Mm-hmm. We're getting a good Spider-Man. Like, we're getting a guy that is a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man. I'm totally happy about that. And I'm curious to see what villains they go for in that one.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, there's a whole plethora that they haven't actually touched, like, story-wise and everything.
The Spider-Man's rogue gallery is, it's good on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like, all the villains we've seen in all these other movies, they're fucking phenomenal, but Spider-Man has some of the best villains that I've ever seen.
And we haven't seen the Sinister Six yet either.
No, and that's been failed so many times they've tried to start it. It would be nice if they just were like, oh, there they are, and just fucking throw them out there. But I would really like to see a decently done Carnage. Like, I would love to see a Maximum Carnage storyline.
Or a revamp of Venom and have Carnage involved with that too. Yeah, something. Because, I mean, they didn't really do him justice in the third movie, to be honest with you. And they have not even mentioned his name, the Carnage name, at all. So, and he's actually my favorite villain in the whole universe right there. So,
Spider-Man's, like,
Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Carnage was... Cletus Cassidy is a fucking serial killer, dude, and he's a ruthless serial killer. The way they're doing Venom right now, if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, he's actually, like, Flash Thompson is Venom right now, and he's Agent Venom.
Mm-hmm.
But if they decide to go with the Eddie Brock story, they may not want to do that. You never know. Sony might be like, oh, the last time we tried the symbiote, we fucked it up. Because, I mean, Sony's co-financing some of this shit with Marvel, but
they know their mistakes, so they can basically work with Marvel and be like, hey, this is what we did. And Marvel's like, we know. We know.
And I feel
we're doing it this way.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen Green Goblin, we've seen Doc Ock, we've seen the Sandman, we've seen Venom, and we've seen the Rhino, we've seen Electro, which I actually enjoyed seeing Electro be used as a main villain, because in the comics of yore, he was a fucking great villain.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, where do you go? Do you revamp the Goblin again? I don't want to see I only want to see Goblins in the third film.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if anything, bring the Hobgoblin.
See, I was thinking that too.
That way, they have that. We already know what happened with the Goblin, the Green Goblin. Now we actually have the continuation with his son.
Yeah,
as the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, you could do the Hobgoblin. You could do. Honestly, I wouldn't mind them trying to do Doc Ock again.
Or what was his name? Mysterio.
Mysterio. That'd be a really cool minor villain, because I wouldn't really...
Him and Scorpion.
No, fuck that. Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him.
I would love to see a really, especially with this Peter Parker, like a young kid
being chased by a freaking, a hunter.
A dude that uses his fucking bare hands, dude. Mm-hmm. Oh, one can only imagine. But I guess we'll find out in July of 2019 when that one comes out.
Yeah.
What else would you like to see going forward in the universe? Like as far as Phase 4, we talked Spider-Man and Guardians. Like what else would you like to see happen?
Well, I already have a feeling that they're bringing more Black Panther besides the first film and the continuations of him being involved in the Avengers.
Of course.
I'm assuming with how popular Doctor Strange is after the first film that they're definitely going to rehash again with a second or possibly a third, more than likely a trio, because that's just how Marvel rolls.
That's right.
It's always a trio.
They're like butter.
Other than that, I mean, maybe like a story with Bucky involved, just like kind of like what he's doing with his side of the Avengers, or if he's actually doing anything with the Avengers.
It'd be cool to see him and Falcon in a movie together.
I mean, seeing their chemistry in Civil War was pretty funny.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So that's kind of my thing. Like everybody else is pretty much like Guardians and Avengers and whatnot, but I'm more Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and possibly seeing more of Bucky, and hopefully I can actually appreciate his character more than some people do.
I want to see a Secret Wars film. Like I want to see an Avengers Secret Wars movie where they go full black suit Spider-Man, and you have the two underground factions that eventually put their shit aside and come together, and things like that. Or again, eventually would like to see Bucky take up the Captain America mantle and continue on the Captain America franchise somehow. It's sad because like a lot of these, they were talking about how the Red Skull was never dead, and I would love to have seen him come back in some kind of capacity because I really enjoyed Hugo Weaving's portrayal of the Red Skull.
Mm-hmm.
More Loki, for fuck's sake. Like
Because Tom Hiddleston.
Give him his own movie. Give Black Widow her own movie.
I mean, they've been clamoring for that for how long now?
A good while. I mean, you could make a S.H.I.E.L.D. movie.
Yeah. I mean, they made a TV series out of it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you could probably make a good S.H.I.E.L.D. film with, Maria Hill, Fury, Hawkeye. Fuck. I even hate have to say that shit, but fucking Hawkeye and Black Widow. Fucking Hawkeye.
What happened in Budapest? Tell us what happened in Budapest.
The shit, right? I don't know. I mean, as far as the TV series go, I mean, you've got good minor characters that are happening on Netflix and ABC right now, with like Ghost Rider being on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then there's the Punisher and...
Yeah, he's getting his own series on Netflix. In fact, Cloak and Dagger are getting their own ABC series.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, dude. It's a good time to be alive right now if you're a Marvel fan.
It's a good 2 years coming up.
It is a good 2 years.
It's a marvelous 2 years.
It is a marvelous 2 years.
I don't know why we said marvelous year, because it's technically 2.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's been a marvelous year, though. It has been, and it will be. That's about all I have for this one, dude.
Same here.
Cool. Well, we're gonna
thwip out of here.
We're gonna thwip out of here. Yeah, guys, we haven't plugged this in a while, but go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/supermediabros, and come right on our wall and like our page, get your friends to like our page, and all that jazz. The jazz. We are on Twitter, if we ever even get on there anymore. I don't even know.
What's a Twitter?
I don't know. What is a Twitter? It's at supermedia_bros on Twitter, _bros, because we underscore the competition. I don't think there is any competition, but
Twitter.
Twitter. Obviously, you're listening to us either on SoundCloud or iTunes, so go give us a rate, a review.
Spread us around like the HIV.
That's right. And subscribe to our iTunes page. Go to soundcloud.com/supermediabros and check us out there for the Android users. I am still trying to work on us getting into the Google Play Store. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but hopefully we'll be there eventually.
Do not fret.
That's right. And with that, we are cueing the music and getting out of here. Pew! So why did it not do it?
Because I did it for you.
Oh, thanks. Pew! Pew! All right, that was episode 11, A Marvelous Year, or 2 years, depending on how you're counting out there.
Those years. Those años.
That's right. Until next time, shades on.
We're off.